Welcome to On This Day, where we look back at the moments that made history, one day at a time. From major world events to the weird and unexpected, every date has a story. So, what happened on 15th of July? Let's find out. July 15th might sit quietly in the middle of the summer calendar, but history has had plenty to say on this day. It's a date filled with milestones in politics, discoveries in science, unexpected royal twists, and moments that still echo in music, sports, and space. Whether it's about a new beginning, a final chapter, or a surprising turning point, the 15th of July delivers across the board. Let's begin in 1799 when a group of French soldiers digging near the Egyptian town of Rosetta discovered something that would change our understanding of ancient history forever: the Rosetta Stone. This slab of carved text in 3 scripts became the key to decoding Egyptian hieroglyphs. For centuries, those symbols were a mystery until this stone cracked the code. Fast forward to 2006, when Twitter founder Jack Dorsey sent the platform's very first public tweet. It simply read, "Just setting up my Tudas my TR." Little did anyone know that this casual update would launch a new era of social media, viral news, and more than a few online arguments in under 280 characters. Back in 1834, the Spanish Inquisition officially came to an end. Yes, the Spanish Inquisition. After over 350 years, it was formally abolished by royal decree. It had started as a religious tribunal, but over time became notorious for its harsh interrogations and executions. Ending it was a major move toward reform and modernization in Spain. In 1975, history took to the stars when the United States and the Soviet Union launched a joint space mission, Apollo-Soyuz. It was the first international human spaceflight, and the symbolic handshake between astronauts and cosmonauts in orbit marked a rare moment of cooperation during the Cold War. On July 15, 1971, U.S. President Richard Nixon shocked the world by announcing that he would visit China. It was a groundbreaking move to normalize relations with a country that had been isolated from the West for decades. The trip happened the following year, and it became one of the most significant diplomatic shifts of the 20th century. In 1997, fashion designer Gianni Versace was shot and killed outside his Miami mansion. His death stunned the fashion world and led to an international manhunt for the killer, Andrew Cunanan. Versace's legacy, bold, glamorous, and unapologetically creative, lives on, and his story was later dramatized in an Emmy-winning TV series. Let's roll back to 1815 when Napoleon Bonaparte surrendered to the British after his defeat at the Battle of Waterloo. He had hoped for asylum, but instead they shipped him off to the remote island of St. Helena in the South Atlantic, where he lived out the rest of his life. From emperor to exile, but quite the downfall. Love discovering what happened on this day in history? Hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Now to 2004, when Millennium Park officially opened in Chicago. With its futuristic architecture, the bean sculpture, and massive open-air music pavilion, it quickly became one of the city's most iconic landmarks, and one of the most photographed spots in the U.S. In 1995, Amazon officially opened to the public as an online bookstore. Jeff Bezos launched it from his garage, and over the next few decades, it evolved into one of the largest tech companies on the planet. It's hard to believe now, but once upon a time, Amazon only sold books. Back in 1606, Rembrandt van Rijn was born in the Netherlands. Known for his haunting portraits, dramatic use of light, and deeply human touch, Rembrandt became one of the greatest painters in Western art. His works still draw crowds centuries later. In 1954, the first flight of the Boeing 367-80 took place. This was the prototype for what would become the Boeing 707, the world's first successful commercial jetliner. It kicked off the jet age, shrinking the world and changing the way people traveled forever. Jumping to 2016, Turkey was rocked by an attempted military coup. Tanks rolled through the streets of Ankara and Istanbul, and fighter jets flew overhead. The government eventually regained control, but the aftermath led to sweeping purges, arrests, and major changes in Turkish politics and society. On the sports front in 2000, Tiger Woods won the British Open at St. Andrews by 8 strokes, completing what became known as the Tiger Slam, where he held all 4 major championships at once. It was dominance, precision, and history-making performance, all wrapped into one. And finally, in 1948, President Harry Truman became the first sitting U.S. president to attend a baseball all-star game. He threw out the first pitch at Sportsman's Park in St. Louis, setting a presidential tradition that continues to this day. It was a perfect mix of politics and peanuts. That's what happened on 15th of July throughout history. Made it this far? Drop your favorite historical fact in the comments. Learned something new? Hit subscribe and come back tomorrow. You never know what the past has in store.